Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. We talk all the time about the digital media world, folks. It's loud and crowded. You need professionals like the folks at Oak City Tech to help you get through that. Go to oakcitytech.com. Tell them what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning, and each week we bring you a local small business success story. And if you're not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. But today we're going outside the Triangle to Fayetteville. And our local small business success story is Joan Richter with J&J Desktop Publishing out of Fayetteville. Joan is in CCW1. Their chapter name is Hall of Famers. That's Faymers, which we like a lot. They obviously meet in Fayetteville. They meet Thursday mornings online at 8 a.m. So if you want to get to know some real successful small business owners in Fayetteville, please join her chapter. Joan, good morning. Glad to have you on. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. I'm doing great. Happy Monday.
Back at you. Hope Father's Day weekend was good for everybody.
Yes, yes. Hope yours was good.
It was. I finished a cookie cake I bought at Food Lion on Friday for $6.99, so that tasted very well. I'm a big fan of
Yum.
that stuff. So,
Those are
uh,
good.
J&J Desktop Publishing, you help us put our words and pictures together, don't you?
I do. I do. Yes.
And we think we're clever a lot of times with our words, and we're not. We get into the weeds sometimes when we try to tell everybody about our industries, don't we?
Right. We get all excited about it and want to tell everything about it. And we don't need to necessarily tell everything, but
Yeah, and we don't need to mention all 18 things we do.
right. Just
Let's
17's the limit.
let's start with one or two and get going. And
Right. You want people to contact you to get more information.
yeah,
So,
yeah, we need to leave something, leave them wanting more, as the comedians always say at the end of their show.
yes.
And I've seen photos on websites and LinkedIn, Joan, that, the selfie shot, they've got their camera right here, and no, just pay the couple $100 for a professional headshot, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You don't want that in the picture.
No, because when people are trying to find you, it's for a professional reason. So
Right.
go have the real headshot. Again, cost you a couple $100, and you're probably going to get something better than you can take on your cell phone.
Most definitely. Definitely a professional image.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So what got you started into this? I know you went to University of Oklahoma. We're gonna talk about that. Journalism and advertising, but have you always been a writer, stuff like that?
I've always when I was a kid, I always loved drawing. So I always loved art. And I would write little poems and stuff. I wish I could find that because that would be cool to go back and read. But then when I was in high school, I got into high school newspaper. The guy I was dating at the time was the editor of that. So it's like,
Ah,
oh, cool, let's get into that, right? But I really enjoyed it. And then that continued to college, and I majored in advertising, journalism, and then majored in advertising. Um, and I just really enjoyed being creative and talking with people, and that's really how it got started.
do you remember your first client?
My first client, gosh, I was gonna since we moved here to Tulsa, my first client, and that's when I created J&J Desktop Publishing. Before that, it was um, with the corporate America, and then just some freelance stuff. But officially, as J&J Desktop Publishing, I believe that was actually Tracy Huff, who you had on here
Okay. Yep.
a few weeks ago, and she's the one who got me involved in BNI. Um, and yeah, so take it from there. What is that? 18 since what 2005? I got in BNI.
Yeah.
So since then, yeah.
So are you looking for a client that comes to you and says, "Hey, I need help," or they come to you with, "Hey, I've got these 7 things I'd love to get out. Can you help me kind of tweak it and make it sound better?"
Yes and yes. Yeah, and I get clients who like I know I need something, but I don't know what. And, sometimes you show them something and it's like, I don't really like that, but I know I don't like that. So
Okay.
that can be challenging, although it can be exciting and fun to put something totally new together that they love. So yeah, I get people who have existing stuff. They, like you said, they need tweaked. Um, they just want another set of eyeballs on it. They want some suggestions, and I get somebody who wants a whole new project from beginning to end. So what I talk to the client, whatever they want, um, I am able to help put it together for them.
Are there some industries you have found that you enjoy talking about more than others, or it comes easier to you?
I love animals. So I love talking about and working with anything having to do with animals. One of my favorite clients, and one of my favorite, actually two of my favorite projects. One is for Blind Cat Rescue, and they're a nonprofit, and I worked on a cookbook for them. So that was a lot of fun. I got to talk to a lot of pet owners, and put the whole cookbook together. And then another one was a project, well, projects for our pet sitters, and got to combine the pictures of all the animals that they watch. So that was a lot of fun. That was more, I guess you could say, personal to me
Yep.
because I love animals. And then another one that I really was enjoyed working with was a builder. They had lots of things for me to help them with. So I got to learn some of the lingo and everything. And so in addition to me helping them, it was, I got to learn a lot. So those are kind of some of my favorite industries, so to speak. But I've worked with all industries for the most part, and I can work with all industries. Sometimes I just need more help and being educated on uh, just what needs to go in there, what needs to go in their brochure or their flyer or their business card or their logo.
So let's go back to the cookbook. Were these pictures of yours in there and or recipes of yours?
Yes, and yes.
Ah, very nice.
They had it. I don't remember the name of the company, but it was like a cookbook company that a lot of churches use and nonprofits, and they have all these templates to use, but you could also customize it. So I wanted to customize it. So normally they have the template and the fonts you can choose from, but it's like, no, I want to use this one and I want to do this. And on every page or every other page, I wanted to put a quote, something to do with cats or, animals in general. Um, and we made a front section that was, well, one was Rainbow Bridge, and that was for all the cats who have since passed on to the Rainbow Bridge. That's from the Blind Cat Rescue and Sanctuary. That was their cats. And then we had another section where people could send in pictures of their cats and some other animals. And, they paid for it. It was like a fundraiser. So we donate, all that money was donated to Blind Cat Rescue then, and people got to have pictures of their cats in there.
Very
So
nice.
that was exciting, and people loved seeing that.
Oh, yeah. You cannot go wrong with dogs or cats,
That's right.
right? Now, I'm a dog guy. Let me say that up front. I've never owned a cat, but I know the
They own
passion.
cats own you. You don't own cats.
But I know the passion cat owners have for their cats, so it's probably like same thing that dog owners have for their dog.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, your cat has already made an impression on our show today, correct?
Correct. Well, he was one of the ones who made me a little bit, come on, get off of me, Moonshine. I was like, I had the Zoom stuff. I was getting there and let's jump on the keyboard. And yeah,
He was saying good morning, and sure
he
that's
was saying good
happened.
morning.
I'm sure that's happened before, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, did he jump on the keyboard and just kinda look at you like, "Hey, I'm here"?
Well, he was trying to crawl all over me, actually.
Okay.
So he probably just wanted to say, he's like, I want your attention.
Yeah. Yeah, which again happens a lot, right?
Yeah. And he's a three-legged rescue kitty. So I couldn't, I got to be a little gentle with him. So
Now, I understand you, have some creative names for your cats.
Yes, 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 I do.
Alright, so
Right.
what cat names do you have? And then we'll get into how you go through the process of coming up with those.
Okay. Well, we have 2 cats now, boy and a girl. We have Mojito, yes, named after a mojito, and Moonshine, named after moonshine.
I like it. I like it. Which
Just
one's
kind
the
of fun
boy?
cocktail names.
Which one's the boy?
The boy is Moonshine. He's our tripod kitty,
Okay.
and he just runs around like crazy. You'd never know he has just 3 legs, and he's amazing. Mojito's trying to get used to him because we've only had him since like February.
Okay. How old is
So
he? How's Moonshine?
Moonshine is, we think 1 or 2,
Okay.
but it looks like he's gotten a little bigger. So
Alright.
we're not sure. Next time we take him to the vet, we'll have them. That they were just kind of guessing when they first saw him, but I'll have them take a look at his teeth because they could tell more from the teeth
Oh,
on
okay.
their age. I don't know if it's the same way with dogs, but
Yeah,
I would imagine.
probably so, yeah. So what's the process like coming up with a themed name like that?
Well, it's funny. The first cat we got, it was we think he got lost or somebody dumped him off or something. He was crawling in our Tulsa home, and we'd open the door, and here he trots in. And I had wanted a cat named Osti, or an animal named Osti, like for Osti Spumante. So that was our first, was Osti. And then we wanted another one to, so Osti had a playmate. So we adopted from our vet's office, and we named her Brie. So we had wine and cheese. Then we moved
Nice.
to Fayetteville, and a friend of ours asked us if we wanted a cat that they had because they also had a flying squirrel, and it was kind of the cat was attacking the squirrel. It's like, okay, we'll take the kitty, and I named her Mango. So we had wine, cheese, and fruit.
I like that.
Yep.
Take me back to a house with a cat and a flying squirrel. How does that work?
With the cat and a wine, what?
And a flying squirrel.
Oh, a cat. Oh my gosh. Well, the cat was very young, fortunately. So this was like I said, a friend of ours, and she had taken. Um, I don't remember if I think she took the cat to the vet, told the vet how, um, I've got this flying squirrel now and this cat, and the vet's like, no, 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 you need to not get rid, you need to rehome the cat, or it's going to eat your squirrel. So they were desperate to find a home for it. It was actually a friend's mother, and so when they told us, it's like, well, obviously we don't want anybody injured or anything, and I secretly would take as many cats as I could. So, so we got Mango, and they all eventually got along great. All 3 of those are gone now, unfortunately, but they're still here in my heart.
Yep.
And we
Uh,
have Mango or Mojito and Moonshine.
nice. I don't know that I've ever heard of somebody having a flying squirrel as a house pet.
That's the first time I've heard of somebody taming a squirrel and keeping that,
Huh.
but yeah, I've not heard of the flying squirrel. So
All right. You had no desire to take the flying squirrel too, right?
that had never crossed my mind actually, but
Wisely, yeah.
not with cats.
Did you have a cat growing up?
No, we always had dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, and my mother didn't like cats. She said she didn't like how they got on things, got on the table, got
Mhm.
on pretty much whatever they want to.
Yep.
And so I always grew up with thinking that, and that thought. And then when I moved away to college, one of my roommates, we had an apartment, and she brought a cat in for the summer. So that was really my first, what's the word? Yeah. Yeah. My first, my first foray into cat life.
Okay.
And yeah, it was not too bad, but I had to move the plants I had to move, things on certain shelves. And it's like, I love decorating and stuff too. So it's like I wasn't used to having to be mindful of that, but I am now at home.
Yeah. One of, my sons has a friend going all the way back to high school, and their friend they all graduated college, moved out, and he got married, and they got a cat, and the cat decided to climb into the Christmas tree and, tip the thing over.
I'm sure that was not pretty.
You're not surprised that a cat would wanna do
Oh,
that,
no,
yeah.
no. There's lots of videos out there with that. So
Oh,
cats.
yeah. Yeah, cat
I have
videos
a cat.
everywhere.
I have a cat and a Christmas tree story though, if we have time.
We do, go ahead.
Okay. So our cat Mango, um, we had like about an 8-foot Christmas tree, had being the key word. And the other two cats we had, they would lay under it, but they would never, try to climb it or anything. So we were lucky there. Mango, she didn't try to climb it, but she would lay on the ground on her back. And apparently she chewed the wires for the lights and didn't see her do it, but kind of saw her walk away. And she had like this little hair lick on the back of her, on her back that never really went away. So those lights didn't work then. So what we wound up doing, and it was like a 3-tier thing, so the bottom tier did not work with the lights. So we just took that bottom tier off, got rid of it, and we had a shorter tree. And then the next year she decided to chew those. I was like, well, we can't really go shorter with the tree. It was already like 4.5 feet. And it was a couple of years before we said, oh, duh, we can just be like we did before trees were pre-lit and, buy strings of lights and string it ourselves. So we did that. And I tell you, that was the best for decorating because it was much smaller and I could put all my stuff on it. So, you could hardly see the tree though. So my husband, Jim, didn't really like that part, but I kind of loved it.
And she didn't chew into that cord?
No, surprisingly.
Huh.
Yeah. And she passed, it was last year. So she's only had one Christmas or one Christmas before that, I guess. Um, but no, but I'm worried about Moonshine this year. She's a chewer.
Okay.
So yeah, we gotta watch the mouse cords and everything because she'll go for them.
So let's talk about your time at University of Oklahoma.
Yes,
Let me
boomer sooner.
full disclosure, I'm a Tennessee grad.
Yeah, I'm guessing by the orange shirt. I would say it's a little too
I wore
orange to
that just
do.
for you today, Joan. So I'm welcoming you to the Southeastern Conference. I'm happy to have Texas and OU coming in because it'll make for better football and baseball.
That it will.
Yeah.
That it
But
will.
you wisely schedule your Saturdays in the fall around football.
I do, and I have even been known to not do things
Yeah.
like at an event or whatever. It's like, yeah, fine, just pick me up after the game, okay?
Yep. Yep.
And now, with Wi-Fi and all that, I can, watch something uh, on my phone
Yeah,
if need
you'll be
be.
at a party sitting in the corner chair watching your
Yeah,
phone and nobody has any idea why, and you're like, "Oh, don't bother me.
yeah. Well,
We're"
they kind of if they know me, they know why now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
or at
Uh,
least I'll go check the score and watch some highlights. Depending what the event.
yep, and I like these small college towns like Norman, and every now and then you hear somebody scheduling a fall wedding on a Saturday, and you're like, "No, no."
Like, what's up with that?
You'd think if you're the hotel, I guess you want business, but you kinda wanna put that out there. You know you're not gonna have many people here, or they set up if they know it's a 3:30 kickoff, they have the wedding at 2:30 and the reception is watching the football game.
Yes, yes, or at least have a separate room, or have the TV set up somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, that would be correct, but I always laugh about those stories at Alabama and Auburn, that, "Wait, it's the fall, you're not supposed to have that."
That's right. Do it on a Friday
Yeah,
or Sunday.
nothing
I mean,
wrong.
those aren't popular days for weddings or whatever, but just still.
Did you enjoy your time there?
I loved it, actually. I loved it. I didn't at first. Um, I guess it was culture shock, kind of, being away from home, and having my own bathroom at home to having to live in a dorm with
Yeah.
16 people on my floor and, one bathroom.
Mhm.
And it's like, wait, what? I mean, many stalls and 2 showers, but
Touche, yeah.
still,
Yeah, we
still.
had, I think 6 showers and about 8 sinks, and I don't know how many toilets, but yeah, it was interesting the first time. You're like, "Okay, guess this is my life for the next couple of years."
Right, right. Yeah. So that was, I mean, it was different. Made some really good friends.
Yeah.
I got to really enjoy it. But um, my, I always wanted to go to Texas A&M. I went to high school in Houston, actually Katy, Texas,
Yep.
and a lot of my friends were going to A&M, and then a lot were going to Texas.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not going to do the horn symbol on camera there. Um,
You can do horns down, that's the
Horns
popular
down. Yeah,
video
I didn't
thing, yeah.
want. Yeah, I
Yep.
did that. And so I had everything set at A&M. I had my roommate, my dorm. I had everything set, and then my dad was transferred to Tulsa, and he said, if you want us to pay for your college, you'll go somewhere in
Oh, no.
Oklahoma. So I was mad. I was depressed. I was everything, and the way I went to Oklahoma, because I really didn't know anything about it. My dad and I went to the library,
Mhm.
looked up, we didn't have the internet then.
Yep.
So went to the library, did some research on the colleges in Oklahoma, and main ones I found were Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. I didn't want to wear orange and black. Um, Nothing personal about the orange and the Tennessee. I really love orange now, actually, but I went there because of crimson and cream. I like the colors better.
Well,
I
you
mean, how
you
how
gotta
sad is that?
yeah, no, you gotta know your color wheel.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not gonna look good in orange and black, I mean, why get your dad to spend the money there?
That's
When did
right.
you guys at what point in time in your senior year did you move to Tulsa?
5 days after graduation. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
It
and I remember I went to a graduation party. I think it was the night before, no, graduation day. Sorry, went to a party that night, and that was the last time I was going to see
Mhm.
some of those people, at least for a while. And I remember my mother saying, like, be home at 10 o'clock. It's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do, ground me?
Yeah. Gonna move me to Tulsa. We have a small connection through the state of Texas, you and I do. We lived in Sugar Land for a little while,
Okay,
and
yeah.
so this would have been, what are we, 90 to 90, 89 to 93, I think,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I miss the food. I loved Houston. I miss the food, but there's nothing like Houston hot in the summertime.
No, it's ridiculous. I remember going back and getting off the airplane, and
Yeah.
that just hits you in the face.
Yeah, I lived 10 years in Florida, and it didn't come close because at least you had a breeze there. In Houston, there was no
Right.
breeze.
What part of Florida?
Daytona Beach.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. We
Love
love to vacay at Cocoa Beach.
Yep. Right down the road. Yep.
Yep.
Learned a lot of things. Saw a shuttle launch from the beach at night, which is very
Yes.
impressive. And you see the shuttle take off, you see it in the sky, and then about a minute or 2 minutes later, you feel the rumble on the ground from the launch. It takes that long to
Yes.
get there to Daytona, but
Yes.
stand on the beach, it just kinda shakes it for a minute. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. We were on the Cocoa Beach Pier, the last one that we saw. That was a few years ago.
Mhm.
And, you get there early because you want to get a seat on the pier because,
Oh, yeah.
everybody's there. And then, you got to get your drinks and all that. And I remember, everybody getting their cameras ready. And then it was like, okay, it's been delayed 8 minutes. It's like, okay, time for another rum runner.
Yep.
Okay, now it's ready again. So it was about two
Yeah.
hours delayed total, but it was fun. And now, like you said, like a minute later, it's like, okay, it's
Yeah.
probably over Africa now. And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. An old boss of mine from, my days in Daytona would get on his boat, go out in the water to watch the shuttle launches and the rockets taking off, and he said that was impressive at night as well from a boat.
Yeah.
They're fun,
Yeah.
it's
My
beautiful.
husband, he lived in Merritt Island, which was, up the road from Cocoa Beach,
Yep.
and basically where Cape Kennedy is in that area. And I believe he said that he and his dad, I could be wrong on this, but I believe he said that he and his dad were, um, they were in the water, watching the launch when the Challenger exploded.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't even imagine seeing something like that. And I know, I think my stepdaughter saw it on when they were in school, they were watching it on TV.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
fortunately, it's much happier now.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing what they can do with technology. And yeah, every time we go to Florida, we'll try to see if there is a launch that
Oh, yeah.
we can go see.
Yeah. No, those are cool. Give me your best story from James E. Taylor High School.
E. Taylor High School. Oh my gosh. If I looked back at it, it was new when I went there. Well, I think I was the third or fourth graduating class. And now I look back at pictures of it, and I don't know that I could recognize it. It's, so built up and everything. Um, oh my goodness. I loved high school. I really loved it. I had made some good friends and got active in like I said, yearbook, not yearbook, newspaper. Um, Friday night football games were always
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
And I don't remember what they called it. But during the football games, they had, how you have the cheerleaders, you have all the like the pom pom girls, and then you have just different things like stuff like that. And a few of my friends and we did I guess it was like a plaster resin something. It was on wheels, and I think it was every time we scored, we would all push that thing to the other end of the field.
Nice.
Oh, and there's a cat falling off the table behind me. And push it back, and we thought we were so cool. Yeah, a lot of good times in school. I was trying to think what else I did. I competed in some spelling bees, and oh wait, no, that was junior high. Oof. Gosh, I'm feeling old.
Tell me about the time you wore the pink high tops to your senior prom.
Yes, of course. How can I forget that? Yeah, this was, times of taffeta. You look back then at the prom dresses that, we wore in the mid '80s compared to what's now. It's like it didn't show quite as much skin back then. Lot big poofy sleeves,
Yeah.
flowy taffeta, lots of ruffles. um, but yeah, a group of us, we had like pink high tops. I think somebody might have had purple ones. I'm not sure. But we thought, hey, some of the guys, they brought their checkered bands, and girls had the pink high tops. And we didn't necessarily wear them there. Like we wore our heel, like, our heels that we had specially dyed to match our taffeta dresses, had to have that. Um, but there was a time at the prom where we did put them on and, took some pictures and stuff. So, we were cool.
And you still have some of those pictures?
I do. I've got to get them out because
Yeah.
those are so much fun just to look at, and
Oh, yeah.
the memories and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the '80s hair like at James E. Taylor High School senior prom?
Some of that Duran Duran.
Mm, yeah.
That there was a lot of Duran Duran. They're just a big boofy.
Yeah.
Um, if you wore it, so, I have my hair kind of in a side ponytail now, but if you did it back then, it would have been like
Up
way up
there.
here.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much what you see in the '80s movies, was true.
Do you recall who your date was at that prom?
Who my what was? I'm sorry.
Your date?
Oh, my date. Yes, yes. Sorry, I got my um I get their names mixed up. Moonshine. She's on the kitchen table behind me, and she's trying to take the tablecloth off and
Yep.
making noise. So
Naturally.
yes, I do very well remember my dates. I went to two proms. I went to my boyfriend at the time. It was his senior prom, so I was a junior, so I went to his, and he was the one who was the editor of um, the high school newspaper. And then he went to Texas A&M, which
Okay.
was one of the other reasons, I was like, I gotta go to Texas A&M. And then my other one, my senior prom, yeah, I remember he and I dated for about 2 years. So yeah, good times.
All right. J&J Desktop Publishing, the other J is your husband, Jim.
It is. He's the silent partner.
All right. Did we clearly define our roles in the company,
Oh
seeing
yeah.
that we are married?
Oh yeah.
All right. I have two questions. One is, what do you guys talk about at night? And two, who breaks the tie?
Ooh. Uh, what we talk about at night, depends what kind of day Jim has had, actually. And normally we'll just, I'll ask him how his day is and vice versa. Um, we'll talk about world stuff, actually. We'll watch a little bit of the news just to see what's going on, and I'll ask his opinion on stuff. Um, and I'm very curious. So if he tells me something that's going on at work, a lot of times I'll ask just because I want to understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So I'll ask a lot of questions. So sometimes we'll do that. And Jim's really smart and he's very insightful on things. So a lot of times if I have an issue with something I'm going through at work or in life, I'll ask him and he'll help me out. Even if it's with my work in terms of, hey, what do you think of this drawing or this design I just did? And so that at that point he's not the silent
Yeah.
J, but once he says something that maybe I don't agree with, it's like, okay, you're silent again.
Yeah. Does he have a pretty good eye for designs and logos?
He does for when he sees something, but if he had to actually
Yeah.
do something,
Yeah.
not so much.
Okay.
But he's great at ideas and everything like that. So yeah.
I always like to ask people, married folks on the show. So I will ask you, how did you and Jim meet? And do you both tell the story the same way?
Okay. Well, so he's not here right now, but
You can say whatever you want if he's not there, but
okay.
yeah.
Well, no, we actually met at work. We both worked at the same software company in Tulsa, and worked in the same department. So got to know each other then. Then we became friends, and probably after a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years, we started to date, and 28 years later, here we are.
Do you
So
remember where the first date was?
I do. It was at a bar called Sunset Grill, which was very popular in Tulsa. They always had live bands. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. There's always like groups of us going there. And then, Jim and I went out there. And there was one time, I don't think this was on our first date there. I think it was on a subsequent date. But they have on the parking lot, they had entrance and exit. And it's kind of clearly marked. But I know Jim went in the exit instead of the entrance. And there was a cop in there, kind of pulled him over and talked to him for a while. I got out and went in. So I don't remember if he got a ticket or what, but I think they were just trying to enforce this is the entrance, this is the exit. So yeah, that's a little embarrassing, but kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah, but you wisely walked inside, had a good time waiting
Yeah.
on him.
It's like, bye, I'll see you.
Yeah. Why the 2 years before you started dating?
Well, he was previously married. They had been divorced, and he has two wonderful daughters. They're in my stepdaughters. They're both in Florida now. Have 4 grandkids, but
Nice.
so we didn't want to, just getting out of a relationship. You don't want to rush anything. So, we had been friends, so we just kind of stayed friends, and then it's like, let's go out on a date. So we did. So,
All right. So you're
yeah,
28 years into this. You're feeling pretty good about it, right?
feeling pretty good
All
about
right.
it.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There's good times and bad times, but
Oh, yeah.
fortunately, mostly good times.
Well, good.
And
Well,
lots
good.
of laughter. That's what I love. We make each other laugh.
Good.
So
No, I'm with you on that. All right,
yeah.
if somebody's thinking they gotta get their word out, their image out, what's a couple things they need to think about?
Well, I think one of the main things is their target audience,
Mm,
because if knowing the target audience will help you know which direction to go in terms of how to advertise or market. Like, do I want to do social media? Do I want to do a print ad? Um, like a lot of the older generation, they still, not all of them, of course, but a lot of them do still they like to, read something.
mhm.
And longer, the younger generation is more on the phones.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to do something that they can easily pull up on their phones and everything. Um, and also knowing your target audience, if say your target audience is doctors, then you don't want to advertise to um, a, I can't think right now, but to a place who their target audience might be um, agriculture,
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
like that. So and you got to just make sure within your message that you are doing that as well, like with your fonts, with your words, um, with your pictures, like if you are, say, doing a design for a an auto mechanic, you don't want to use frilly fonts and pastel colors, stuff like that. So you need to have your message and your audience and your branding work. The branding is really important that you keep that on track. And so I had done a logo for, it's been a while. I don't even remember which industry this was for. But when I do a logo, I do several designs that they can, see if they like that direction, and we'll tweak it from there. So I gave them, like I said, several designs, and they liked several of them. They're like, okay, I want to use this one on the website, this one on the letterhead, this one on the business card, this one on. It's like, no, no, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. It's like you're going to make it really hard for your customers
Yeah.
to know who you are. You need to keep the same branding, your same look and feel across everything. And I'll work with web designers sometimes to make sure that uh, we have the same cohesive look with the web design and the print design, because that's very important as well. If you're looking at somebody's website and you've seen their business card, you want them to be able to go, oh, that's the ABC company. Yeah, that's who I want to call.
Yeah,
So I see a lot of that.
and my biggest problem with some businesses, when they're coming up with their company name, they outthink themselves and they come up with this Latin word that means like 22 different things, and people can't remember. They certainly can't spell it or pronounce it usually, and they can't remember it. And no, just, common sense, come up with a name that's a little easier, but sometimes people just outthink themselves.
That's true. And it might be something really clever and cool, but if you're only the only one who knows that it's clever and cool,
Yeah.
then what's the point? So
Yeah.
maybe in your tagline or something, if you want to do something more clever and cool. But
Yeah.
if people are going to, search for you, um, yeah, you definitely want it to be something easy and memorable, and something that somehow tells what you do
Mhm.
or gives you an idea of what you do. And all company names don't do that, but sometimes you can tell by, the graphic that might be with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm with you. I wish people would, think from the consumer end to the name instead of from the name to the consumer end, but
right,
you
right, and that's again why it's important to know who your target audience is. I
yeah.
mean, you can have multiple, audiences, but like if you're doing a campaign for, like if you're focusing on meeting builders and realtors and stuff like that. I mean, you want to gear your stuff, not your logo and everything, but you want to gear your materials, your flyers, uh, your ads and everything toward that market. And if you want to, if you're targeting doctors and the medical staff for a campaign, you want to do something that clearly represents them.
Yeah.
So now there's times, of course, when you're trying to reach everybody. But as we say in BNI, we don't want to say who are you looking for? Everybody. It's
Yeah.
because specific is terrific,
Can't
right?
help them. Your math says you cannot help everybody in a given week, so
I
quit
know,
asking for
and
them.
yeah, I found that's one of the hardest things
Mhm.
to grasp in BNI,
Yes.
at least at the beginning.
Mhm.
So,
I agree. I agree. Well, Joan, we've appreciated this very much, folks. If you are looking to get your image out there in a more professional way, and you need some good verbiage and a good logo, you can certainly go to J&J Desktop Publishing. We've been putting Joan's phone number on the screen. You can give her a call, and especially if you're in the Fayetteville area, you already got a successful professional there. So please give her a call. We've had a lot of fun today talking cats and OU football with you, Joan.
yeah. Hey, now the Sooners are going to play. I believe it's Texas A&M this
No,
week
A&M beat
in the college.
yeah, A&M beat Texas last night. I think
Right.
Oklahoma's in
Oh,
the other I think they're in the other bracket.
well, we're in bracket 1 still.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, because we beat Texas A&M the first game.
Oh, then yeah, you'll see him
So
again.
yeah, and we
Okay.
beat Notre Dame last night.
Yeah, good. Good.
So yeah, on to the next game.
All
So
right. Well, good luck to your Sooners in Omaha.
yes,
And we
thank you, and good luck to your Tennessee. I think you're not in the baseball. I don't think
no, we
Tennessee.
are number one team in the
Yeah,
country the whole year and just kind of imploded against Notre Dame, and we got what we deserve.
yeah,
So, yep.
yeah. Well,
Yep.
but we beat Notre Dame for you last night.
Well, I
So
appreciate it. Anytime Notre Dame loses, I'm happy. So I appreciate you
okay,
doing that. So
I'm that way with Texas.
yep, I hear you. Anyways, Joan, we've enjoyed it very much. Good luck with
Thank
J
you,
and J
Mike.
Desktop Publishing.
Thank you, Mike. You have a great day.
Thanks, and we'll see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.